Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter number 30, the activities of the Prajāpatis, text number 50, what is it? 50 and 51, the end of the chapter. Yujayamana sarvesham Yujayamana sarvesham Tejas vinam rucha Tejas vinam rucha Svayopadata dakshyacha Svayopadata dakshyacha Kamanam daksham abruvan Kamanam daksham abruvan Yojayamana sarvesham Yaha, one who, Jayamanaha, just after his birth, Sarvesham, of all, Tejaha, the brilliance, Tejasvinam, brilliant, Rucha, by effulgence, Svaya, his, Upadat, covered, Dakṣa, from being expert, Cha, and Karmanam, in fruitive activities, Dakṣyam, Dakṣa, Abruvan, was called. Translation: after being born, Dakṣa, by the super excellence of his bodily luster, covered all other bodily opulences. Because he was very expert in performing fruitive activity, he was called by the name Dakṣa, meaning the very expert. Lord Brahmā therefore engaged Dakṣa in the work of generating living entities and maintaining them. In due course of time, Dakṣa also engaged other Prajāpatis, progenitors, in the process of generation and maintenance. Purport: by his divine loving grace, Srila Prabhupada, Dakṣa became almost as powerful as Lord Brahmā. Consequently, Lord Brahmā engaged him in generating population. Dakṣa was very influential and opulent. In his own turn, Dakṣa engaged other Prajāpatis headed by Marīci. In this way, the population of the universe increased. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 4th canto, 30th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Activities of the Progenitors. Dogs are fired up today. Om Gnati Minandarshan Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshulam Militanjana Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha. This is the end of the chapter. Just a brief ending, that the Progenitors now have taken up ruling the kingdom, and they have produced a son, and his name is Dakṣa. And he will come further in the future. There will be descriptions about Dakṣa and his activities. So here the verse says that Dakṣa was very expert in performing fruitive activities. Because of this, he was called Dakṣa, which means the very expert. Expert in performing fruitive activities, which we are not. We are engaged. We very much engage. We like to engage in fruitive activities, because fruitive activities means sense gratification. Right? When you perform nice fruitive activities, then you get sense gratification. That's the whole idea. Otherwise, who will bother? Srila Prabhupada says, of course, it's an illusion, because you can only eat so many chapatis. So how much sense gratification can you actually get? Srila Prabhupada says, so therefore, actually, it's a waste of time. The person who works 18 hours a day and earns millions and millions of rupees, what is the use? He can still only eat a certain number of chapatis, can't eat any more than that. And the person who earns 10 rupees, Prabhupada says, he enjoys his chapati just as much. He's getting the same level of enjoyment. Prabhupada says, what to speak of human beings? Even the animals, they're also enjoying levels of sense gratification. Eating, sleeping, mating and defending. The 4 base activities of all living entities. Everything is either eating, it's all about eating, about sleeping, mating, and defending. Defense. So everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's enjoying their own level of sense gratification. But it's not that the millionaire is enjoying more. When he eats, he's getting more taste. The super chapati, super tasty. Everybody's getting taste. Everybody's getting the same taste. So Srila Prabhupada said, why endeavor? So much endeavor for fruitive activities. But nevertheless, everyone is engaged. Here, Dakṣa. He's such an elevated personality, such an elevated birth. Of course, previously he took birth as a Brahmana, a highly elevated Brahmana, but then he made a mistake. We were talking about those mistakes. Mistakes are costly. Yamraj made a mistake, had to take birth in the material world. Dakṣa made a mistake, offended Lord Shiva. Then he again had to take birth in the family of a Kshatriya. He was the most elevated Brahmana, but he had to take birth in the family of a Kshatriya, the son of the Progenitors. He had, and this is in what? Chakshusha Manu. Originally he was in the Manu of Swayambhuva at the beginning of creation, when he was an elevated Brahmana, progenitor, Prajāpati, highly elevated personality. And because of that offense to Lord Shiva at that time, who can count? Prabhupada doesn't even count. How many years, how many lifetimes previous. And then, because of that offense, he had to do tapasya for like the 7 manus. 6 or 7 manus he had to do tapasya, and then finally got birth again as the son of a Kshatriya. to get his opulence. Describing here his opulence. His bodily luster, his aura was so powerful, you couldn't see anything else. When Dakṣa would enter, he was so effulgent when he would enter any area, then you couldn't look. He was so opulent, so much luster, so much powerful. Because of performing fruitive activities, he became very elevated. In fact, Prabhupada says Dakṣa became almost as powerful as Lord Brahmā. Amazing. He developed so much punya because of fruitive activity. He was so expert in fruitive activity. But ultimately, fruitive activity means sense gratification. What is the use? Right? Dakṣa went to so much tribulation, so many trials that he faced, and so much austerity just to get some great material position, just so that he could have further his material advancement, fruitive activities, for sense gratification. Srila Prabhupada says, there's no other purpose behind fruitive activities. Making money, developing assets, developing your reputation. The only purpose behind it is sense gratification. Right? And this whole pastime of these Prajāpatis, they're performing strict renunciation. That's the pastime. Narada Muni advises them, just become fixed in devotion at the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord Shiva advises him, don't become distracted by fruitive activities. Just meditate on the feet of the Lord. Don't get sidetracked with all this fruitiveness. And even after coming out, after so much tapasya, and meeting Lord Vishnu face to face, and then the Lord instructs, so now you rule the kingdom. He says, whoa, hang on a minute. Then we'll become again implicated in fruitive activities. We should avoid. And the Lord promises, don't worry, I give you the blessing that at the time you will remember me. You will not forget. Then they engaged in these activities. But we're not so lucky. So devotee has to be very careful not to become attached or develop too much fruitive mentality. Right? The whole idea of Krishna consciousness is renunciation. Prabhupada says yoga, the process of reconnecting with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is called yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, bhakti yoga. Different types of yoga processes. The goal is to reconnect with the Personality of Godhead. So Srila Prabhupada says that means renunciation. Any yogi, any yoga means renunciation. So if someone is engaged in fruitive activities and sense gratification, it cannot become a yogi. A yogi means renunciation of sense gratification, giving up sex life. What else? There is so many types of sense enjoyment. Right? Prabhupada says culminates in sex life. It is the highest pleasure in the material world. Sex attraction, sex life. So Prabhupada said, you want to be a yogi? Renounce. You cannot become a yogi. You cannot give up fruitive desire. You have to renounce sense gratification. Ultimately, Prabhupada said, you have to renounce sex life. You cannot maintain sense gratification and call yourself a yogi. Right? Prabhupada criticized so many yogis went to the West. Right? So many yogis, Prabhupada's called them bogus. He said it very clearly. They're bogus. They are bogus. They went to the West and taught their yoga, and they allowed all kind of sense gratification. You don't have to meditate. Some of them even said like that. You don't have to meditate. You don't need mantra. I will simply touch you on the head. You give me a donation, I will touch you on the head, you're self-realized. Right? Prabhupada said, cheaters. It's not possible to become a yogi without renunciation of sense gratification. Right? This is the whole platform. Sense gratification is all about me. And Krishna consciousness is all about Krishna. Everything for me, everything for Krishna. It's completely reverse. It's the opposite. The devotee has to give up. Srila Prabhupada gives an example that you have to come into the sunlight. Right? Sense gratification means darkness. And Krishna consciousness means sunlight. It means the light. So Prabhupada said, if you come into the light, there is no darkness. As long as you're standing in the sun, in the sunshine, then there's no darkness. It's not possible, any kind of darkness. Darkness is hidden. Darkness becomes a servant, just like Vyasadeva met with Narada Muni, and Narada Muni was teaching him that you have missed something in your translation of the Vedas, and he was already feeling transcendental ecstasy. Right? It's not that he was morose, no, it was a big mistake, it didn't work. He was in ecstasy describing the Vedas, but feeling something's missing. And Narada Muni comes and questions him, and himself he admits, yes, I have not explained the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead Krishna, the goal of everything. Right? Then he translates further. So at that time he meets Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu appears, and then Prabhupada explains, he can see, it's in the first canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th chapter, he sees Lord Vishnu, all effulgent, shining, bright, effulgent Lord Vishnu, and he sees Maya behind, just a shadow, just like a shadow, completely at the feet of Lord Vishnu, completely subservient to Lord Vishnu. He actually sees Maya being, but Lord, in the front is Lord Vishnu, that shining effulgence. So in that context, Prabhupada is saying, the devotee should be in the sunshine. When you go in the sunshine, then there is no darkness. It's not possible. As long as you're standing in the sun, impossible to have any darkness. Same thing, but if you go in the closed room and close the door and create your own darkness, that is fruitive activity. You're just creating your own darkness. So Krishna consciousness means the sunlight. Prabhupada said devotee should always remain fixed in Krishna consciousness. Renounce sense gratification, giving up sense gratification, controlling the mind, controlling the senses. How to control the mind, how to control the senses so you can focus. A nice example, Srila Prabhupada says, the mind is like the driver of the car. So the passenger, the owner of the car, he sits in the back and he tells the driver, take me to the Krishna temple. I want to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? And the mind is directed by the driver, by the owner. He's the driver, he's directed by the owner, he goes to the temple. Or he can say, take me to the club. I want to have a few drinks, play some golf, play some stupid games. The mind is the driver, he'll take him there. So Srila Prabhupada says, but the problem is, we are not directing the driver. We have given the license to the driver, take me anywhere you like. I'm sitting in the back, you take me any place you like to take me. Srila Prabhupada says, dangerous. So the driver is doing that. The mind, he's just taking us anywhere he feels like. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's very dangerous. End up in a dangerous situation because we have given up. We've given up control, and we've given that, Prabhupada says, power of attorney. He uses that term. We have given power of attorney to the mind. Now you're in charge. Do whatever you like. Right? And it's just the mind and the senses. And therefore we end up performing so much activity, developing so much karma, and therefore suffering. Some happiness, material happiness, and a lot of suffering, and a lot of confusion, because we have given that autonomy. So Srila Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness means taking back the authority. Krishna consciousness means taking back that authority. Now I will direct you where we'll go. Right? We can go here. I don't need any suggestions. Right? You're the driver. Just don't have to speak anything. You just sit quietly and I'll decide and I'll tell you when I want to go somewhere, where I want to go, how long I want to go for. I'll decide. Right? Srila Prabhupada said that is Krishna consciousness. Nice example actually. Prabhupada had all these simple analogies, but they really make the picture very clear. You have to control. It means, Prabhupada said, that means yoga. That means a yogi. And then that driver becomes your best friend. Prabhupada gives that in the Gita saying. Krishna says, best friend or your worst enemy. So when you've given him the license and told him you do whatever you like, then he's your enemy. He'll take you to any ridiculous situation in life. So he's like an enemy. But when you're in control and that driver is obedient and doing whatever you tell him and taking you where you want him to go, then he's your best friend, right? So it's a good example showing the mind is your enemy if he's in control, and he's your best friend if you're in control. So this idea, one should perform renunciation in order to control the senses, in order to control the mind, and then the mind becomes the best friend. Then you can direct the mind, you can focus on something, you can focus on Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, sense gratification, there are unlimited forms of sense gratification. I mean, overeating, of course, eating is, especially for ISKCON devotees, it's our one big sense gratification left. No intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex life, no meat eating. Oh my God. You go in the West, I remember so many times in Australia, I'm sure Janalada has same experience in America. And you talk to people, no intoxication. People sit there and they're, No, sir, no gambling, no sex. What do you do? How do you people enjoy? That's enjoyment, right? That's how to enjoy. That's the only 4 things we got. Right? People get shocked. Oh, that's crazy. It's ridiculous. I don't believe you. People say, I don't believe you. That's sense gratification. And we have to give it all up. So devotees, nice prasad. That's the only thing we got left. Nice prasadam. Got to have a lot of nice prasad, right? So this is also some sense gratification. Overeating is also sense gratification. Pigging out, they call it. Right? We're not eating and thinking, wow, Krishna prasad, Krishna prasad. We're eating thinking, oh yes, tasty, tasty, more taste, in trying to enjoy the prasadam, right? So overeating there's so many types of sense gratification. And sleeping is really number 1 sense gratification, especially for devotees, right? Devotees work hard, they're out, up early, up late, working hard, busy, acting, planning. So sleeping, wow, for devotee, nice to sleep in. Just one day a month, just sleep in. Don't wake up. Right? It's just a way to hide. It's just a way to hide from the mind. We had a devotee in Mayapur, Italian devotee, when we were working on the Samadhi. He's an expert with marble. He trained all the mysteries in Mayapur. He trained them how to fit marble, how to carve, how to cut. He's expert from Italy. He's from a marble family. His father, his grandfather, his great-grandfather, they were all marble people. Such a nice devotee. So I stayed with him. I worked with him every day. His name was Antayami Krishna Das. But sometimes he had his own personality. He didn't speak Bengali, of course, but he didn't speak English either. He spoke only Italian. And the workers would be there, he's teaching them, and then he would start in Italian, speaking in Italian, and Italian, and the Bengali guys, I don't know what he's saying. And then he would show them, physically he would do it and show them, you do it like this, and then they would watch and, oh, okay, I understand. So like that, interesting person. But sometimes, I'd wake him up in the morning, let's go Mangalarti. And then he would say, little broken English, Prabhu, today big Maya. Today number 1, big Maya. Today I not get up. Huh? What do you mean, you'll miss Mangalarti? No. Today I not get out of bed. I'm not getting up today. It miss Mangalarti, miss Guru Puja, miss Prasadam. I come, Prabhu, Prasad. Today big Maya. I no go outside. I sleep. Today a very big Maya. Today I sleep. I'm hiding. If I go outside, more big Maya. So I stay in bed and sleep. Very transcendental. It's like that. No? Maya is sleeping is a place to hide. Like Prabhupada says, the ostrich. When the ostrich gets in danger, then it runs, and if it's feeling, no, now I'm captured, and it sticks its head in a hole in the ground. Right? The whole ostrich is sticking out of the ground. Huge big bird, you can see very easy, and his head is in the hole, and he's thinking, now I'm safe. Nobody can see me. I can't see them, they can't see me. Right? So Antayami had his ostrich days. He was doing that sometime. You just stay in bed, put the cover, that's it, hiding. Nobody can see me. We all do it. We laugh at him, but we all do the same thing. Sleeping is big sense gratification. Right? Morning time, my son told me, you wake me up at 7 o'clock, I'll come Guru Puja. I woke him at 4 o'clock, no, Papa, 7 o'clock. I woke him at 7 o'clock, and he sat on the bed for 15 minutes. I could see what he's doing. He just his mind. Oh, yeah, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. 15 minutes. While I took a bath and I was getting dressed, and he was waiting for me. I could see he's just waiting for me to go, and then he'll lay down again. But he didn't want to lie down while I'm in the room, so he's just sitting there. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm thinking. I said, no, you're not. Your mind has already decided. You're just waiting for me to leave because you feel shy. Then he agreed. So he didn't come. It's like that. No? Sleeping is big sense gratification. Devotees have to give up sense gratification. Have to give up excesses. Excess sleeping. Excessive talking. Have to give up those things. Can't be, Prabhupada says, can't be a yogi if you don't renounce sense gratification. Can't become a yogi. Can't control your mind. You can't focus. Mind remains your enemy. Never becomes your friend. But if you're able to do that, right, then you come to the highest platform. Then you come to the transcendental platform. Platform of Krishna consciousness, not an artificial platform. Yoga is an artificial platform. It is a platform to bring you to the highest platform. But in itself, it is a process. It's not the highest platform. Right? Just to control. So, this is the idea Prabhupada is talking about, becoming Krishna consciousness, coming to the highest perfectional platform, the perfectional stage of life, renouncing and controlling the mind, so we can focus and become Krishna conscious, engage in Krishna consciousness, fully standing in the sunlight, no darkness, just I'm in the sun, that's it. No question of Maya affecting such a personality. Right? Effulgent, transcendental. This is the idea. So, as a team we have to do that. We have to work together, get everybody in the sunlight. Right? It's like that. Not that I should see myself and I am progressing in Krishna consciousness, but our mood of Lord Chaitanya, and Srila Prabhupada's mood especially, is that everybody's becoming Krishna conscious. Right? So we are thinking recently now, temple is built, some few things left to do, but mainly the temple is built and programs are going on, again coming open, people are coming, we all have our service to do. It's important. Everybody, works hard as a team together. Whatever responsibilities we have, whatever service we have, we take care and we do those things so that it goes on automatically. We don't have to think. It just should go on automatically, like breathing air. You don't have to think. Air in, air out. It's just automatic. So, temple should be like that. It should go on automatically. Everybody does their service. No conflict. If there's some conflict, sort it out. Be mature. Sit together one-on-one and okay, I have this problem. And okay, well I have this problem. Okay, so how do we solve the problem? Because then if we work it out and we're unified and we work together, then we can do so much more. And we have 33 districts in Rajasthan. So far now we have centers in 16 districts. We have preaching programs, outpost or extension center in 16 districts, but we have 17 districts where nothing's happening. Right? So now we want to cover up 17 more districts. But if we're busy taking care of each other and we're not cooperating with each other, then we can't do it. But if we work as a team and we're unified and we have a vision and a goal, pleasure of Prabhupada, then we can do it. We can cover all 33 districts in Rajasthan very easily. We can easily do it. Right? We have so much manpower. We have so many managers in these different centers. We have so many good devotees, senior devotees. All of us know what needs to be done. Everybody knows. We're not all just new devotees. Even if we're new, in the heart we know what needs to be done. And we're doing it for Prabhupada. Right? We're doing it for Prabhupada. Not just to add another number. Oh, ISKCON society has another temple, has another building, right? Has another asset, has increased its net worth from this many crores to that many crores. We're not doing it for numbers, to adding temples, just to become famous, right? We're doing it for the pleasure of Prabhupada, pleasure of Guru and Krishna. So devotees have to think like that. We have to renounce, make the mind our best friend and focus on spreading Krishna consciousness. Now the youth boys started this program, Hari Bhakti, doing Harinam twice a day, morning time in the city and the evening time in the villages. Some new initiative. Everybody can do something like that, have some new idea, some new initiative, how to spread Krishna consciousness. If the mind is out of control and we're just busy in fruitive activities and sense gratification, then we can never focus on expanding the preaching. Right? We're so much caught up in all these useless things. But if we really control our sense gratification and we really focus the mind, and very easily, what did Srila Prabhupada say to Tamal Krishna Maharaj? He said, I could conquer this world in 6 days or something. 6, 7 days, he said, I could conquer the world in 6 days. But you people don't follow. You're so busy fighting and arguing with each other, all petty things. You don't listen to me. Therefore, it'll take some time. It's like that, man. So that question is there. Somehow or other, we should all get this mood. Let's cover the whole of Rajasthan. Let's develop. Not that ISKCON Jaipur, ISKCON Jodhpur, ISKCON Udaipur, they're all some separate, my temple, your temple, separate mentality. We should develop that unified vision. All the leaders, all the devotees, we should have some unified vision that now we will conquer the whole of Rajasthan. Then we can easily do. Very easily we can do. Everybody here has so much capacity. Everybody's got so much good quality and so much capacity. But sense gratification, eating too much, sleeping too much, we get caught up in those things. So here now, next chapter is Narada Muni begins giving his instructions to the Prajāpatis. Right? When Narada Muni speaks, and it's all about Krishna, right? It's all Krishna consciousness. So next chapter is very instructive. Any questions or any comments? Jai, all glories to Srimad Bhagavatam.